Most people believe the world hurts them, but the truth is simpler. The world does nothing. What destroys them is their reaction. They are not broken by events. They are broken by emotions they cannot control. Anger, fear, shame, the need for approval. These are the real chains, and until you master them, anyone can control you. 1. Emotional pain is a form of dependency. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. If someone can trigger you, they own you. Every emotional reaction is a signal of dependence. You are dependent on being respected, being understood, being liked, being treated fairly. The moment these expectations are violated, you feel pain. But pain here is not proof of injustice. It is proof of attachment. An emotionally untouchable person expects nothing, and because he expects nothing, he cannot be manipulated. 2. Detachment is not coldness. It is power. Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by eliminating it. Epictetus. People confuse emotional control with emotional emptiness. That is a mistake. Detachment does not mean you feel nothing. It means you do not obey what you feel. You observe emotion. You do not become it. The moment you stop identifying with your feelings, they lose their authority over your actions. 3. The silent observer. Inside you. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. Viktor Frankl. This space is where strength is born. Most people collapse this space to zero. They react instantly. They explode. They defend. They explain. And in doing so, they surrender control. Train yourself to pause. Silence is the first sign of dominance. 4. Why people try to emotionally control you. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Machiavelli. People do not fight you physically, they fight you emotionally. They provoke, they shame, they guilt, they manipulate. Why? Because emotional control is cheaper than force. If they can make you angry, you become predictable. If they can make you ashamed, you become obedient. An untouchable person is unpredictable because he is not emotionally reactive. 5. Stop explaining yourself. Never explain yourself. Your friends don't need it, and your enemies won't believe it. Elbert Hubbard. Explanation is a form of submission. The more you justify, the more you reveal insecurity. Strong people state, weak people defend. Silence creates authority. 6. Emotional economy. Spend only when it pays. Energy flows where attention goes. William James. Your emotions are a limited resource. Stop wasting them on. Disrespect noise. Irrelevant opinions, low-level conflicts. If a situation does not change your future, it does not deserve your emotional investment. Indifference is not weakness, it is efficiency. 7. Master the art of internal distance. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Do not merge with events. Observe them as if they happen to someone else. This psychological distance turns chaos into information, and information is power. 8. The fear of losing approval. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask and he will tell you the truth. Oscar Wilde. The need to be liked is the most dangerous emotional addiction. It makes you tolerate disrespect, avoid conflict, accept injustice, betray yourself. Once you stop needing approval, you become ungovernable. 9. Pain is training, not punishment. What does not kill me makes me stronger. Friedrich Nietzsche. Every emotional wound is a lesson in detachment. Do not escape discomfort. Study it. The situation is not hurting you. Your interpretation is. Change the interpretation, and the pain dissolves. 10. The final rule of emotional immunity. The superior man is modest in his speech but exceeds in his actions. Confucius. Your power is not in what you feel, it is in what you do despite what you feel. calm under pressure, silence under provocation, control under chaos. This is what makes a person emotionally untouchable. 11. Emotional control is the highest form of intelligence. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle. Sun Tzu. Most people associate intelligence with knowledge, but knowledge without control is dangerous, especially to the one who possesses it. You can read hundreds of books, you can understand psychology, you can see manipulation coming, and still lose because your emotions move faster than your mind. Emotional control is not suppression, it is calibration. It is the ability to remain clear while others become distorted. The person who stays calm in chaos automatically becomes the center of gravity in any room. Others adjust, he does not. That is intelligence in its most practical form. 12. Why? Overreaction is a form of weakness. Anger is a short madness. Horace. Overreaction feels powerful. In reality, it is exposure. When you explode, you reveal what hurts you, what you fear, where you are vulnerable. You are giving information to the opponent. The emotionally strong person feels the same impulse, but does not grant it expression. Silence after provocation is not avoidance, it is psychological superiority. Power is measured not by what you say, but by what you can withhold. 13. Detach from the outcome. Do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they happen. Epictetus. Attachment creates tension. Tension creates predictability. When you desperately need a result, your behavior becomes transparent. Others sense it, and they use it. Detachment does not mean passivity. It means you act fully, without emotional dependence on success. You become dangerous because you are no longer negotiable through fear of loss. 14. The weaponization of guilt and shame. Shame is anger turned inward. Sigmund Freud. Guilt and shame are not moral tools. They are control mechanisms. They make you police yourself. When someone cannot dominate you externally, they attempt to dominate your internal narrative. They make you feel responsible for their emotions. They make you feel wrong for your boundaries. Once you see this, you stop apologizing for existing. 15. Psychological armor, low emotional display. Strong minds discuss ideas, weak minds discuss people. Eleanor Roosevelt. Emotion is information, and information is currency. The more you display, the more you can be exploited. Emotional opacity creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates respect. Not because you are feared, but because you are not easily readable, and what cannot be read cannot be controlled. 16. The discipline of non-reactivity. You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger. Buddha. Non-reactivity is a trained reflex. It is the ability to feel without being compelled to respond. Most people confuse reaction with strength. In reality, reaction is obedience to stimulus. When you choose not to react, you break the stimulus response chain, and whoever controls that chain controls the interaction. 17. Emotional independence creates respect. The man who has no need of approval is feared. Machiavellian principle. Approval seeking is emotional poverty. It makes your behavior adjustable by others. The emotionally independent individual moves by internal standards, and people instinctively recognize this as authority. Respect is not demanded, it is felt. 18. The illusion of control through conflict. The best way to win an argument is to avoid it. Dale Carnegie. Arguments rarely change minds, they reveal insecurities. The need to dominate verbally is often compensation for internal instability. True power is not loud, it is unprovoked. The person who does not need to fight has already won. 19. Become unreadable. The wise man is one who knows what he does not know. Lao Tzu. Predictability is weakness. When people can anticipate your reactions, they can engineer your emotions. Minimal expression, measured response, delayed disclosure. This is how you become psychologically untouchable. 20. The final evolution. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Emotional untouchability is not coldness, it is sovereignty. It is the state where external chaos no longer dictates internal order. And when nothing can move you, everything begins to move around you. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Most people believe they are victims of circumstances. They think life is unfair, people are cruel, and the world is hostile. But the truth is quieter and therefore more dangerous. Nothing outside you has direct power over you, only your interpretation does. Emotional pain is not caused by events, it is caused by the meaning you assign to them, and whoever controls that meaning controls you. That is why emotional mastery is not a luxury, it is a form of sovereignty. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of the wounds people carry were never physically inflicted. They were created inside the mind. An insult only becomes an injury when you accept it. A rejection only becomes humiliation when you internalize it. A loss only becomes devastation when you define yourself by what was taken. The emotionally untouchable person does not deny emotion, he simply refuses to kneel before it. There is a difference between feeling and obeying. Anger is felt, fear is felt, disappointment is felt, but they are not commanders, they are signals. Viktor Frankl described this perfectly. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose. That space is where power lives. Most people collapse it to zero. They react instantly, and in doing so, surrender authority over themselves. Reaction is not strength, it is exposure. When you react, you reveal your pressure points, your insecurities, your dependencies. Machiavelli understood this long before modern psychology existed. Those who control emotions control men. That is why manipulation is rarely logical, it is emotional. Guilt, shame, fear of rejection, desire for approval. These are the real tools of domination. The need to be liked is not a virtue, it is a vulnerability. Oscar Wilde said, "Man is least himself when he talks in his own person." Most people perform personalities that are designed to be accepted, not respected. And acceptance is expensive, it costs your boundaries. When you depend on approval, you become adjustable, and what is adjustable is controllable. The emotionally untouchable person is not cold, he is independent. He does not require emotional validation to maintain stability. His center is internal. Marcus Aurelius called this inner citadel, a place where chaos cannot enter. Detachment in this sense is not indifference, it is clarity. Epictetus taught that freedom is not gained by satisfying desires, but by eliminating dependence on them. The more you need a certain outcome, the more fragile you become. Desperation is visible, and visibility invites exploitation. When you detach from outcome, you become dangerous, because fear of loss no longer dictates your behavior. Anger, as Horace said, is a short madness, but madness feels powerful to the one who experiences it. In reality, it is surrender. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. Silence carries more authority than noise. Silence forces others to fill the space, and in doing so, they reveal themselves. Explanation is another form of weakness. Elbert Hubbard wrote, "Never explain yourself. Your friends don't need it, and your enemies won't believe it." Every explanation is a confession of insecurity. Power does not justify, it states. Emotional economy matters. William James observed, "Energy flows where attention goes." If you invest emotional energy into every irritation, every insult, every trivial conflict, you will remain poor. Indifference is not emptiness, it is efficiency. The Buddha warned, "You will not be punished for your anger, you will be punished by your anger." Emotions are not the problem. Uncontrolled emotions are. They distort perception, they shrink strategic vision, they turn moments into mistakes. Nietzsche was correct. What does not kill you makes you stronger, but only if you interpret it correctly. Suffering that is not understood becomes trauma. Suffering that is understood becomes training. The emotionally untouchable mind converts pain into information. It does not ask, "Why me?" It asks, "What does this teach me about myself?" Lao Tzu taught that the wise man is difficult to read. Predictability is the enemy of power. When people can anticipate your reactions, they can design your emotions. Opacity is protection, minimal display, measured speech, delayed response. These are not social skills, they are strategic skills. Confucius said, "The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions." Words are cheap, control is rare, and rarity creates value. To be emotionally untouchable is not to be numb, it is to be sovereign. It is to remain calm when others panic, to remain silent when others provoke, to remain steady when others collapse. No man is free who is not master of himself, and the man who masters himself cannot be ruled by the world. A man who conquers himself is greater than one who conquers a city. Plato. Most people believe strength is the ability to fight back. In reality, strength is the ability not to be pulled into unnecessary battles. Every emotional reaction is an invitation to lose position. Because the moment you react, you are no longer leading, you are responding. And the one who responds is always one step behind. Emotional vulnerability is rarely visible as weakness. More often it looks like justification, the need to explain, the urge to defend, the impulse to prove. These behaviors seem rational, but they are emotional. They are signals that your inner balance has been disturbed. Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Most people are not controlled by others. They are controlled by unexamined emotional patterns. A sharp comment activates old insecurity. A cold tone triggers fear of rejection. A delay in response awakens anxiety. And suddenly your behavior is no longer chosen, it is automatic. An emotionally untouchable person trains awareness before control. He notices the internal shift before the external reaction. This is the critical moment, because awareness creates distance, and distance creates freedom. Power begins when you stop merging with your emotions and start observing them, not as enemies, but as instruments. Sigmund Freud wrote that the ego is not master in its own house. That is why emotional discipline is rare. It requires the willingness to sit with discomfort without acting on it, to endure the tension, to allow the emotion to exist without granting it authority. This is not suppression, it is command. People will test you, not always consciously, but instinctively. They will raise their voice, they will provoke, they will disrespect boundaries, not to harm you, but to measure you, and your reaction is the answer. Those who are easily disturbed are easily influenced. Those who remain composed become the reference point. Michel de Montaigne observed that a man is miserable not because things are difficult, but because he believes them to be. Belief creates emotional reality. Change the belief, and the emotional response changes with it. This is why stoic calm is not apathy, it is cognitive superiority. When you stop interpreting events as personal attacks, they lose emotional leverage. When you stop seeking emotional justice, you gain strategic advantage. People who are emotionally untouchable do not need to win every exchange. They choose which battles deserve their nervous system, and most do not. They understand that emotional energy is capital, and capital must be invested, not spent impulsively. In a world obsessed with expression, restraint becomes dominance. In a world addicted to reaction, non-reactivity becomes power. And in a world driven by emotion, the one who governs himself governs the situation. That is what it means to be emotionally untouchable, not unreachable, not distant, but ungovernable. The world is full of noise, drama, manipulation, emotional warfare. But the one who controls himself cannot be controlled by others, and that is the highest form of dominance.